Hi, I'm Seth, editor-in-chief of Forbidden Origins Comics, and Superman came out, and it is great. Not only as one of the best Superman movies ever made, but one of the best comic book movies ever made. But if you've been paying attention to the real world at all for the last 20 months, you would know that the US and Israel are involved in a genocide in Palestine. And then a lot of early buzz, especially the people that saw it that first night on Thursday, went and saw the movie, and they came out going like, oh wow, Superman is pro-Palestine. Now, I was skeptical at first. Before I saw the movie, I thought it would be like a one-line thing, maybe that it was at best a liberal Zionist take on Palestine that kind of both sides things. But no, the movie does seem to actually have an anti-Zionist message, or at the very least, Zionists seem to think it has an anti-Zionist message. Now, it's not a perfect analogy, it's not one-to-one. A lot of people like to point out that the script was written January 2023, and of course, this genocide hasn't escalated quite so high until later that year in October. But there are so many parallels, so many choices that are very directly related to Israel, like the fact that Moravia, the invading power, is a white colonial state that's been allied with the US for a long time, and Jernpa is primarily seen with brown people with less technologically advanced weaponry that isn't allied with the United States. And that the US is basically allowing this to happen, as well as allowing their corporations to intercede in the matter. Now, it's vague enough that perhaps it has nothing to do with Palestine. A lot of people are saying that it has to do more with Russia and Ukraine, but come on. It's Israel. In fact, a lot of people have already pointed out the similarities between the 2018-2019 border conflicts between Israel and Palestine that the movie seems to draw a lot from. And if you follow James Gunn's work and his media personality throughout the decades, it seems like he is being radicalized in some way. We're not quite sure how much, because he's kind of stepped back from talking about politics as often as he used to. But if you remember, Mike Cernovich decided to try to get him fired by bringing up his old tweets making fun of pedophiles to try to get him fired from Disney, and it kind of worked, but then he came back to Disney eventually, and that was because he was outspoken about Trump. He didn't like Trump a lot, so he was one of those liberals, never Trumpers, so that seemed about as far as he would get. But then when Suicide Squad came out, that was a movie about US involvement in the global South, and how we experiment on the people there, how we mistreat the people there, how we offload our military shit over there. The end of the movie, when Starro comes out and ravages the town, the Suicide Squad, which is a Black Ops military unit of the United States, says, well, fuck those people, they're not Americans, let them die. So it does seem like James Gunn kind of gets it. So what do I think this means for the future of the DCU? I think it means really good things. So if we turn to the MCU, the core of the MCU was formed around Iron Man. Now, Iron Man is he's an arms dealer, he's a tech billionaire, and that was the core of the universe for a while, and that's kind of permeated every other character. Every other character then becomes military propaganda to some degree. Captain America becomes less of what he was in the comics and more of what people think Captain America is, where he's kind of this military, liberal. He is this liberalized American propaganda. That he had Spider-Man, who can't be separated at all from Iron Man's influence, to the point where he's getting a lot of his tech from Iron Man. He's not really the poor kid we used to know. It seems like they're finally separating from that. But with the DCU, the core of it being seemingly that Superman is an immigrant, that the US government isn't to be trusted, we involve ourselves in the global South too much, that we are involved in too many genocides across the world, we are a colonialist power. That being the core of the DCU is an incredible thing to see, especially as America is, run by a fucking Nazi. I will say that is one thing I am scared of, is that Project 2025, there's a lot of media control involved in it. If you read it a lot, that's why they are constantly bringing up banning video games. A lot of people are afraid that GTA 6 won't come out next year because of that. A lot of people were worried about the Nintendo Switch 2 not coming out because of all the tariffs and stuff like that, or at least the prices rising further beyond where they are right now. So there is some genuine fear that the DCU can be co-opted or straight up dismantled by David Zaslav friend of Donald Trump. However, I remain hopeful. Sinners was a Marxist vampire movie that came out of WB. This is a pro-Palestine movie that came out of the WB. So hopefully David Zaslav is a fucking idiot and doesn't know what the fuck he's putting out, or he has less control than he likes us to believe. Anyway, I'm Seth, editor-in-chief of Forbidden Origins Comics. You can follow us on OrigiNation Media or join our Discord at Forbidden Origins, and you can go to our website, forbiddenorigins.com. All right, you have a good day.